everybody, welcome to Watching the Elite Live. It's me, Frank. I'm here with Chuck. This is the show where we talk about everything All Elite Wrestling. That is AEW Dark, Deadly Draw, Dynamite, Being the Elite, everything, all the stuff. We talk about it, we recap it, and then, hopefully you have a good time. We get to chat about it.
That's the idea,
thank you so much for your 30-month resub. Wrestling! It's wrestling time. Taker, do you watch wrestling?
Who doesn't watch wrestling? I mean, what else are you doing with yourself?
I know, yeah. There's like 100 hours of content.
It's true. You're not going out. Out is where the bad things are.
Yeah. You can fill every waking moment of your life with the hashtag content provided to you by the sport of professional wrestling.
I love it.
How are you doing this week, Chuck? What's going on, buddy?
Dude, every week I resemble my little thumbnail on that screen more and more. My hair gets longer. The weather gets hotter. Back in the closet. I'm enjoying a delicious raspberry rush kombucha.
Ooh.
Things are looking up, Frank.
I'm enjoying a passion fruit LaCroix. I was pretty excited. New flavor LaCroix dropped.
Love it.
Limoncello flavor. It tastes like a lemon cake.
Dude, I just got that last week. It's incredible. It's got the same kind of mouthfeel as the coconut, which is to say it's kind of like a creamy almost LaCroix.
Yeah, that's like the polar seltzerades, I find. Whatever that jazz that they put in like the sparkling water to make it kind of feel like it's cream soda. It's
the drink of the summer. You put a little gin in a limoncello LaCroix. You got a stew going.
I still think the official drink of the summer is a frozen Baja Blast from Taco Bell where you pour gin over the top of it.
Frank, that's the drink of every summer.
Yeah, that's the drink of every day.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, let's get into it. Let's go.
You insist.
It's AEW Dark time. So Chuck,
yes,
I didn't follow this particular episode too closely.
Oh, Frank, you're killing me.
It's too much stuff, man. There's too much stuff. And like I wanted to give like Deadly Draw like it's due, so I couldn't give Dark the hour of my life.
90 minutes.
It was
90 minutes.
They gotta stop. I'm over this.
So there's a rumor that this was kind of the swan song for a lot of our favorite enhancement guys, and we're going to get back to the old format of Dark, which features all of the main roster guys. So fingers crossed, this is the last 90-minute Dark for a while.
Yeah, I do feel for like the extras that they had in there.
Yeah.
But I understand if they're wanting to like tighten things up a little bit, like less people backstage. I get it. But when we get to Dynamite, I mean, I can just talk about it right now. You miss the extras, man.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I understand that they've got like this like socially distanced like crowd clusters. It's an open air arena. Everyone's wearing masks. It's as safe as going to a stadium can be, which is something I don't think anyone should be doing right now. But I thought they sucked and the extras were great.
Agreed. I wonder if it's just like either their voices can't carry that far because there isn't enough of them, or they're not mic'd. But absolutely, it's very strange.
They get tickets from the arena. It's like kind of friends of people who work there and stuff. It's kind of like an in-crowd thing. So a lot of people who are there are just like there. It's just like papered tickets. Like, But yeah, so I miss the extras. So I'll miss them. I hope some of them come back. I feel like Lee Johnson's got to stick around for MJF for at least a couple more weeks. But
yeah, I mean, there's a couple people who I think wrestled themselves into jobs. Lee Johnson's definitely one of them. I think the captain, Sean Dean, is another one.
Yeah. I thought Will Hobbs is still, like, huge upside to that guy.
Same. And then there's a guy on Dark this week who I think also, much like Hobbs, is also big upside and will probably manage to stick on with AEW.
Awesome. So run me through it, Chuck.
All right. So first match was Lee Johnson versus Phoenix. Pretty good match for Phoenix.
Very short, though.
Very short. The weirdest thing about this match, did you notice the cockroach crawling on the entrance platform?
No.
There's like a giant 2-inch cockroach crawling all over the entranceway during this match. It's very distracting. Go back and watch it. But yeah, fine match.
Like a Bray Wyatt cockroach? It's like
no, like a real Florida cockroach. Disgusting. But yeah, overall, decent little enhancement match. My only major note is, boy, do I miss Excalibur. Like,
yeah,
Tony and Taz are fun, but neither one really is interested in calling the match. They're just kind of like talking around the match. which
yeah,
it's good. It works for a dark because it's more like you're just dropping in to see some of your buds wrestle. But like for Dynamite, you're definitely missing Excalibur.
Also, it's like I feel like, and this is how I felt like about like even like Sunday Night Heat and like the other smaller like secondary shows in WWE, even in their prime, you know, like Attitude Era and stuff. Maybe like ask the guys what they're trying to do out there.
Sure.
And maybe talk a little bit about that. I understand if they're just like Phoenix is just like, yeah, I'm going over in 2 minutes. Impressive victory for me, Phoenix. But like, maybe just ask him so you can talk about it, like a little bit.
You'd like, think so. You'd think so. Yes, second match was Spears against enhancement guy Alex Chamberlain. Alex actually, you know me, classic body guy, Frank. This Alex Chamberlain, he's in good shape. I liked his look. There was an odd edit early on, so I think there was a cut. There must have been some kind of botch. It's pretty obvious. Overall, kind of a middling enhancement match, but like that's not to be a dick, but like that's kind of what I expect from Sean Spears. He works better coming from underneath.
Yeah.
And wrestling as a dirty heel. So his enhancement matches are kind of boring in my opinion.
Hey, Lord Selsick, rather. Sorry, Lord Selsick. Thank you for joining us. I love that, Frank. I mean, I did just get a full-size gym elliptical machine for my house.
Oh, yes. Nice.
It takes up the entire living room, Chuck.
Well, I mean, no one's coming over, so why not?
Exactly. And I gotta get the reps in.
Gotta keep it tight, Frank.
That. Selsick, that is just like my inspiration photo that I can put on my wall now.
# goals.
Yeah, one day.
With a Z.
One day I'll be allowed to buy adjustable dumbbells on the internet. I've entered a lottery, Chuck. A lottery for the option to purchase dumbbells.
You're kidding.
Four times now. I was about to say 3, but it's 4 times now.
I'm entered into a lottery to never have to use dumbbells. So that's, fingers crossed.
Yeah, oh man. It's impossible to buy that shit right now. Apparently Bowflex is slowly emailing people on the list.
Nice.
And offering them the opportunity. But Core Fitness, man, I enter this lottery like all the time. Just keep on failing. But I digress.
Well, speaking of somebody who doesn't need dumbbells because he's already yoked, the next match, Sean Dean and the debuting Mbadu, who's got a pretty interesting gimmick, very impressive looking. They're taking on the Gun Club. Taz hates the Gun Club, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with him. I don't know what we're doing here. It's similar to like what we're like this sort of QT Marshall problem. I don't understand why we're pushing Gun Club. I don't understand it.
I feel like they're getting pushed on Dark, so it kind of matters when they lose on TV.
That's fair, and that's an effective booking strategy. They do end up going over here. Austin hits a Road Dogg pump handle, and then he does his. I like his finish. It's a hip toss into a
I don't
neck breaker.
like the Road Dogg pump. Like at the time, I thought the Road Dogg pump handle was like, I was like, oh wow, pump handle slam, that's cool. But then you like see like a guy like Test do a pump handle slam, and you're just like, man, Road Dogg sucked ass.
Yeah, well, I mean, he did have the humping part. That was what made it unique.
Oh, because he's a dog.
He's the dog boy.
Oh, Road Dogg.
Yeah, he's a dog man.
Remember when he blocked us on Twitter?
What's that?
Remember when the Road Dogg blocked us on Twitter?
I do. Dude, that was awesome. Man, we really made it.
Yeah,
Talk about arriving.
I mean, I thought Road Dogg was like in, good faith, just on the internet, talking politics, and he's just like, hey, I understand we see these things differently, but I want to see some like evidence of your like views. And I was just like, well, here's like 7. And then he asked if the Guardian was a liberal media rag or something.
Yep.
Yeah, and they blocked me.
Frank,
So in short, fuck the Road Dogg. Guy sucks.
Like I was saying, I like Austin Gunn's finisher. He has like a hip toss neck breaker. Gun Club picks up another win. I think you're right. They're probably being set up to lose on Dynamite. Next match, Michael Stevens versus Kip Sabian. Michael Stevens, very colorful. He kind of does a lot of like hip gyration. He wears very colorful clothes.
Yeah.
Definitely a guy like watching his shtick. I'm like, man, I wish we had a crowd. He'd instantly get over with the crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I agree.
Yeah, he has a great little fire up using the hips, but ultimately Kip Sabian goes over. Nothing special there. Next one, we have Private Party beating Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. I really like, Frank, that they're making Brian Pillman Jr. they're not giving him special treatment. He's just another guy because he's new. Like, he's not getting hot-shotted. He's not getting special privileges.
Yeah, he needs just the ring time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I haven't found any of his in-ring work to be as impressive as anything he did in MLW. I don't know what they were doing in MLW to make him look really good.
Well, they're putting him with Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Teddy Hart.
Yeah, but like, I mean, that just makes him look balanced by comparison.
Sure.
As a human being.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't necessarily make his wrestling look the best.
Right.
But yeah, like I mean, great look, great character. Very believable, but there's still like a couple missing pieces in that in-ring work, and it's just like, man, I wish we had independent wrestling back.
Yeah.
But
yeah, these guys just need the reps.
I think he was like wrestling on like the Warrior Wrestling, because there's been like a few like distanced indie shows. There was like the GCW ones that they're doing like outside, and Warrior Wrestling like had a bunch of AEW guys on their show, and I was like, what the hell are they doing? Like, having this match? It's on like a football field, a college football field.
Oh, I saw that. This was awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like the setup for that, because I thought that Brian Pillman Jr. was maybe like on that show.
I believe so. Yeah, it was like everyone was on the full field. Everybody was spaced out, so they had almost like little picnic areas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like really cool. Like, that's probably the only environment I would actually feel comfortable going to a wrestling show at, where it's just like, I could sit as far away as I want, and people are going to give me room, and I could actually like, watch some wrestling and not feel like I'm going to be killed.
Right.
So yeah, totally. Like props to them, because when I heard they're running a show, I'm just like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah, when you first hear about it, you're like, I'm not so sure, but no, they're doing it as safe as you can.
It's kind of like the drive-in wrestling show where it's like the people who were in the cars were safe, but the rest of the crowd were just like around, and it's like, what the no?
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yeah.
Better in concept than execution for sure.
But yeah, I'm a big Pillman. I'm a big booster for Brian Pillman Jr.
Agreed. I think him and if they're going to become some kind of maybe semi-permanent or permanent tag team in AEW, Griff and Brian Pillman Jr. were doing a lot of the Hollywood Blonde shtick, the camera reel kind of taunt, which I liked.
How'd you feel about how Griff came across here?
I think he's looking more and more confident. I think just getting that sort of prominent position on BTE is going to give anybody a boost of confidence, right? I mean, look what it did to Flip Gordon. Look what it did to...
Oh my God, Flip. Like, night and day, man.
Totally.
Like...
Yeah. I mean, same thing with Jurassic Express. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, good for those guys.
Yeah. And speaking of Jurassic Express, we had a nice little six-man here. It was Jurassic Express against Pineapple Pete, Hollis, and Solo. Now, believe it or not, this was a Marco showcase match.
Yeah.
So Marco hit a razor's edge during this match. He got the win with a 450. A lot of fun stuff from both teams. I will say, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The person who seems to be suffering the most during this no crowd era is Luchasaurus, who I think looks lost out there without being able to feed off the crowd.
Yeah. Man, I was rewatching a little bit of the Double or Nothing Battle Royale.
Oh, I just did that too. That's so funny.
Yeah. Remember when we were there and it was fun?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember that.
That's fun. Outside. But, dude, the reaction he gets in there and the way he feeds off of it, like, at first it's like surprise, and then he's just like, oh, let's roll with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's great. Yeah, I still agree. I think Jungle Boy's hurt by it too.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of misses for people as a result of this. But
can I give Jungle Boy a note real quick? Stop doing that like springboard where like one of your legs is inside the ropes and one of your legs is outside the ropes, and then you go over and do a DDT, because every time you do it, you almost don't make it and it looks like you're gonna die.
Yeah, it's a little scary and it hasn't looked great.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah. It's terrifying every time.
Yeah.
So the next match, did you watch this one, right, Frank? Hybrid 2.
Yes, I did.
Versus the Natural Nightmares. What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good. Again, like you talked about it with like the Gun Club. Like, what are we doing with QT Marshall?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny, actually? My tag team partner had a note, and she was so right. And it turns out we got our answer kind of during Dynamite. But she saw the Natural Nightmares come out, and it was, it was QT, it was Dustin, it was Brandy, and it was Allie, and she was like, so they're the Nightmare family, and the Nightmare family is Cody's deal, but they haven't like been with Cody in weeks. And I was like, that's a good point. That is really strange. They're so disconnected from each other.
Yeah. And then on Dynamite, it's just like a pile of them out there.
Exactly. But like, we're continuing with this like weird tease that like Brandy's turning heel, which is odd.
Yeah, also, but Cody's also kind of teasing turning heel.
Right. And it's very Marshall, strange.
And Brandy and Allie are still kind of competing for attention.
Right.
But Allie's apparently with QT Marshall, but what about her association with Butcher and the Blade?
Right.
And she's like actually married to the Blade, I believe.
She is, yes. Yeah, and QT is married as well.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's fine, you play characters on TV
and
stuff.
Right, totally.
But I'm also just like, but they're so associated, like Allie was so associated with them, and it's just like they split out of nowhere, and she's not doing the bunny bit anymore.
Correct.
And I'm just waiting for a payoff. And I mean, I feel like all of this is coming down the pipe. I think everything's going to implode very soon.
I agree. And again, AEW gets the benefit of the doubt because they haven't dropped the ball on anything except for, you could argue the Nightmare Collective, but even that they tried to pay off as best they could. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
They did pay it off, and if you were interested, you could go watch a whole bunch of stuff online. They even had like a minor payoff on TV just to write it off.
Right.
But it's like, but if you were interested, you could go watch all the other stuff with Brandy and like the therapist bit.
Totally. Which I love that stuff. I really did.
I thought it was really well done. After the first one, it just like got better and better, and like, so I'm definitely benefit of the doubt here. But yeah, I got questions. But yeah, I'm glad to see Hybrid 2 back.
So glad.
I hope this time around they really do something with them.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. Although, again, not quite sure about bringing them back and then immediately jobbing them to QT. But
super weird. Weird.
Very strange. Well, especially because like Jack Evans is such a good promo. I mean, he even cuts a promo during this match. It's delightful.
Yeah.
And then Angelico finally with a new look. He's lost the full bodysuit.
Yeah. And his hair is like a little shorter too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I think there's definitely more you can do with these guys.
Agreed.
But like, do I think the act itself is like ready for like a tag title shot? Not really.
No.
I'm glad to see them on Dark and kind of developing it more. But like, what are they pumping the Natural Nightmares up for?
I cannot make heads or tails of it. I really can't.
They can't give them a tag title shot on TV.
They already got one.
Yeah, but like now they can't do it again.
No.
Like, it'd be silly. Like,
yeah, it's odd that they're trying to juice their record when like the logical conclusion to this story is either like some kind of singles match between QT and Dustin or them being involved in like an implosion of the Nightmare family and then that sort of evolving into like maybe a version of the Four Horsemen. Neither of which I see those two continuing to be a tag team.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Sir Sam. It's good to have you back. Daniel, hello.
Oh, yeah, Sir Sam's in the future. I forget.
Yeah.
It's Sunday.
What's it like? Is it better than today? Let us know. Yeah, I like that. What I think they're doing is they're establishing their lower card talent permanently. So a guy like Michael Nakazawa and a guy like QT Marshall and stuff like that, it means something when you beat them even in a couple years from now when they are just jobbers.
Sure.
Like, I feel like they are laying some like real groundwork for the promotion. If they're not and they're like genuinely pushing these people, I have like then where we are lost.
Right. Well, and you're right that there does need to be some foundation laid, so that these wins and losses matter. I mean, look no further than this first round of the Deadly Draw tournament where some of these tag teams are thrown together and there's zero stakes to the match because the outcome already.
Yeah.
Because those people aren't established. So yeah, I mean you're right. This could just be some foundational work. Yeah.
And I think that we'll talk about Deadly Draw in like a little bit. but I'll save that discussion for a moment. I really need to win the lottery, Sir Sam. Seriously.
No, for real. Yeah.
I need the money.
Seriously.
Right. Butcher the Blade, SCU.
Oh, real quick, actually, Frank, there was one match in between. I'll just say briefly. So we had the debut of Rachel Ellering on Dark.
Yes, the Penelope Ford match.
Yes. Now, what I liked about this match was, Rachel Ellering is very impressive.
Yeah, also, this could have just been on Dynamite. Like
Agreed.
That
absolutely
match,
agree.
But
this is where Tony decided to just...
You meant to be, juicing up, Penelope Ford for TV.
Right. Yeah.
It's just do it on TV. She's ready.
Absolutely. I mean, especially the way that obviously Rachel Ellering is no slouch, but she's been impressive on Dark the way that she's been able to carry a lot of these lesser experienced wrestlers. Even though she herself isn't super experienced, she's becoming a veteran right in front of her eyes.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed Tony. He just suddenly decided to start doing color play-by-play during this match, which made me laugh. Maybe he kind of settled into a groove. And then Taz with the line of the night, saying that Kip Sabian is sucking on Penelope Ford's tongue like a blow pop. I was like, oh no.
But yeah,
he's just trying to pop himself.
And blow pop he did. But I'm glad to see Rachel Ellering in the mix here.
Yep.
But I will talk more extensively about her.
They need warm bodies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they also need more experienced talent.
Agreed.
And that's why I'm actually kind of excited about the implications of the Deadly Draw, kind of going further. So okay,
sure.
Now I've moved the slide 3 times because I keep on forgetting the rest of the card. SU Butcher and the Blade. What'd you think of the match?
I love this. Such a throwback match.
It's a great
old
match.
School. Yeah. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of back when Frankie and Christopher Daniels would wrestle as Bad Influence in TNA.
Yeah.
It gave me those vibes for sure.
Yeah, I think this is a great showing for Frankie and Chris. Butcher and the Blade look better every week. Butcher,
he's so good.
There's something to that guy where I'm like, what's his ceiling?
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. It's a shame that he's kind of past his prime, age-wise, but you could really push... If they didn't already have a bunch of monsters, you could push this guy to the moon, I think.
Yeah, and he looks great. He looks better every week, physically as well, which is saying something because, he's in a band. He's, wrestling on the side, essentially.
Right.
He wrestles 1 day a week. And his in-ring work gets better, and he gets more in shape, and his attitude as well, after the match as well, is fantastic. Man,
great look too. I mean, Sir Samuel prefers the white look to the original one. What do you think?
I'm good with both. I'm glad they have a different colorway.
Right, casual butcher clothes versus wrestling gear.
Yeah. Man, that crossbody he does.
Dude,
he does a
so
regular
good.
crossbody. It looks dope.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit about a regular crossbody usually? That's the big secret with guys like this who I think can go to the main event, where it's just he throws a crossbody and it looks like it kills the guy, but it's just a crossbody. I love that suplex in the knees finish as well.
Very cool. I mean, even his sort of deep knee lunge stomp around at the start of the match is a delight.
It's great. I'm always just oh, watch out for your knees, bud.
Right.
So after this match, what's next for SCU, man?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We did see Frankie scouting during Dynamite, so they're teasing something.
Yeah, I don't. Man, there's been so many people in the crowd scouting. I'm just what's going on?
Yeah, but I like that. If you're not booked, what else are you doing?
Yeah, I'm I feel all the implosion's gonna happen all at once. Mm-hmm. Nightmare Family's gonna explode. The Elite's gonna explode. We're gonna end up with a Horseman. It's gonna be all at once, this explosion where AEW gets remade in a period of 2 weeks.
I think that's great. I'm here for it.
I miss the fact they're slow burning it as well. is really good. Like, but yeah, just seeing Frankie in the crowd, I was like, huh. But yeah, what's next for SCU? I don't know.
I mean, Christopher Daniels is getting near the end of the road here.
I mean, we say that, but he looked great in this match. He is actually 50.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, he's actually 50 years old. That's crazy to me. Like, he looks great. He moves great. Like, still, like, we haven't seen, I think, a quarter of his promo ability on Dynamite or any AEW programming because he's been playing a comedy character for the most part.
Sure.
Or just, like, kind of like a... He's babyface. He's good old Christopher Daniels. He really excels at that heel work, though. So,
agreed.
Like, seeing him as, like, a heel manager down the line, even though AEW apparently is just, like, the most manager-heavy promotion of all time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have, like, Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker out here and, like, shit. Like we're gonna have, like, everyone just, like... It's like, okay, he's a manager now, too. Okay,
why not?
Who's gonna manage Dasha? Hugh Morris. Like... He's back.
I love it.
But yeah, really good match. But yeah, I guess we're going to see a very different Dark next week with the loss of the extras.
I'm interested.
And we'll see where it goes. All right. On to the Deadly Draw Night 2 quarterfinals. The Secret Women's Tag Team Tournament. Hidden away on YouTube. But like that's a crazy thing is like it feels like in the show itself when you're watching Deadly Draw, it feels important.
Right.
Like you've got Shoal Guerrero out there doing the ring announcing, Medusa like popping up, like you get to see people in the crowd like Chuck and Trent and stuff, like they're like Jurassic Express are all watching the matches.
Yes.
Like it has a hot crowd as opposed to the dark crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dark crowd's wrestling. But,
yeah, I mean, I've actually really enjoyed this, if I'm being honest. Like the matches haven't been the strongest, especially, again, because in the first round, one team has been clearly better than the other.
Yeah, because they have to go to the next round. And at least it's following that kind of logical conclusion, other than, like, the upset where Nyla lost.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, that's the story they're telling.
Yeah, I mean, you need one of those.
Yes.
Yeah, so first matchup, we've got Big Swole with Lil Swole Nicole Savoy against Leva Bates and Roche Chanel. I love the experience of people drawing the chips.
Yep.
Like I like seeing people like genuinely excited and trying to like work something out. Like I thought like the Librarian and Roche Chanel bit was actually like really fun, where it's just like, oh, dude, okay, we're doing this.
Can I be perfectly honest with you?
Yeah.
You know me, I've been very critical of Roche Chanel, like the gimmick and her in-ring work. I thought she did some great stuff in this match. Like I think
agree.
This is like the best she's looked so far, and like I was like, oh, I kind of get it now.
Yeah, and like I really feel for Leva Bates because she's wrestling less than ever, even though she's being signed to a major promotion.
Right.
So you kind of see like a little bit more of that static in the matches, like the connective, like stuff between the moves is kind of like a little weak. Like even just like hitting the ropes, she seems like a little bit more tentative. Mm-hmm. But then she'll like do something really cool, and it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that Leva Bates, like from the before times, like wrestling in independent promotions and stuff. I'm like, okay, like I want to see her just wrestle more.
Well, I mean, that's the case with everybody, right? Like, I wonder if some of that static in this match is just like, when's the last time Lil Swole actually wrestled?
Oh, but Lil Swole. Okay, I got this screenshot of the finish where Leva Bates is like, oh no.
Yes.
But okay, Nicole Savoy should be signed immediately. They need people like Nicole Savoy.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Like good showcase match for her. It was funny to see her actually show like the kind of Little Swole style attitude, because like I hadn't previously seen that out of her in her wrestling. Mm-hmm. But then again, I didn't actually watch a whole lot of Shimmer. But it was great to see Nicole Savoy. It's great to see Big Swole with someone to play off of as well.
Yep.
I thought the Little Swole thing was hilarious. Also, so you thought the blow pop was like the line of the commentary for the night.
It was the one that stood out to me the most, at least. Yeah.
Taz, well, that's great. We have a fashion book. From when Leva hands, I believe, a fashion magazine to Rache Chanel.
Yes.
That's great. We have a fashion book.
Taz is just having a good time out there, and I'm loving it.
I'm so glad, man. I'm glad he's back. I miss Taz.
It's not always like the cleanest commentary in the world, and they say some awkward things sometimes. Like there was that whole conversation last week about the corset, or wasn't that last week?
Yes. The fashion one with Excalibur.
Yeah, or not the corset. They were talking about like the
garter.
The garter. Thank you.
Yeah.
But again, like it feels organic.
Yeah,
you know, it feels real.
They're having a conversation. They can be self-deprecating about it. It's fun.
Yes.
Actually, speaking of commentary, how did you feel about the commentary on this match?
So I actually really, really liked it. Vita Scott is a natural.
Yes, Vita Scott's fantastic.
Like she could definitely like be a feature. Like if Dark was Vita Scott and Tony Schiavone, I wouldn't be mad about it. Like not every week, but why not?
I feel like Vita Scott and Excalibur would probably do really well together as well.
Oh man, don't threaten me with a good time. That's awesome.
Because they're both from this century as well. Like,
I almost spit out my kombucha.
I love Tony Schiavone. I love JR. And I love Taz. Even though Taz is much, much younger than both of them.
Sure.
Taz is of their era.
Right.
Yeah.
How old is Taz anyway?
Vita Scott is all-around talent. I wonder if they just throw her in a match soon, too.
Why not?
She can go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How old is Taz? Let's look up Wikipedia.
There's too many Tazes, Frank. There's too many Tazes.
Let's see here.
There we go.
He's 52.
Wow.
Wait,
yeah.
It's Tony Schiavone.
He's 2 years older than Christopher Daniels. It's crazy.
Yeah. Man, Tony Schiavone is 62 years old. He looks amazing. What the hell?
Looks fantastic.
What the hell? What's he doing?
Dude, he had that Starbucks health insurance, dude. When you can actually take care of yourself. It's the fountain of youth. Healthcare.
Oh my god. All right. All right, so I love the tag finish. I thought it was cool. Good match. Red team went over.
Agreed. I mean, not a Matt Classic or anything, but fun.
Yeah, it was a fun, good match, and that's what this needed to be.
Yep.
And a showcase for Nicole Savoy, because you're introducing the audience to Nicole's work, which is great.
Yep.
Next up, Medusa brings Dasha out of wrestling training and retirement and tags her up with Rachel Allering.
So, I love this. Like,
yes.
they seem like such a fun team. Like, the thing that stands out to me is that, like, the teams here seem like they're supposed to be random, but I do love how everyone seems to, unless they're supposed to be an odd couple. I like that, like, the pairings, they feel like, oh, these are two people that go together. They belong together. Yeah. Their personalities fit. And
they're excited.
Yeah.
Like, if this was WWE, they'd just be like, they'd just, like, say their own catchphrases consecutively, then stare into the camera before they walk away. Like, yeah. And that's what I do, because we're the doers. And then just, like, walk off, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like there's an organicness to these interactions that I appreciate. Not just a dunk on WWE, because, you know, they have a much deeper women's roster than AEW does by a huge amount.
Oh, light year. Yeah.
But it's just nice to see people interacting like human beings.
Yep.
But this match, so Dasha, coming off of, you know, her big run on Titan Games, is trained as a professional wrestler, hasn't wrestled in a long time. You could tell for sure.
Yes. Yep.
But there's some stuff that Dasha did that looked like really good.
Dude, that forward handspring roll into the big elbow. Holy shit.
Yeah. Also, it's just like from like the get-go, like just taking forearms and stuff. Like Dasha sold really well and bumped well.
Yep.
Like better than like a lot of people I've seen wrestle.
She's good.
Yeah. Like she just needs to have matches if that's the deal.
Yep. Agreed. I love this match, by the way.
That was so cool.
Like, this match is nothing special, but I loved it.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So the Evil Ace and Diamante team up. Like, so they kind of got into, like, well, they had their match on Dynamite.
Yep.
Diamante went over. And it seemed like afterwards they were kind of mad at each other still. And then they came into this, and Evil Ace is just like, yeah, I thought, I wanted to tag with this person. But, like this probably won't work out. And then she gets Diamante. Do you think she was actually talking about Diamante? I think she was, right?
I believe so. Yeah. It's kind of, it's funny that they're doing the odd couple that isn't really an odd couple story with them.
Yeah, where it's just like, hey, we don't really get along, but
they're a natural tag team.
Yeah, but it would have been great if we could work this out. And they get it. And it's like, okay, cool. But man, what bigger way? Because Evil Ace infamously is difficult to work with. Has burned a lot of bridges. What better way to see if someone's going to be okay in a wrestling promotion than making them sell for Dasha?
Be a team player.
Yeah. All right, you're selling for the announcer today, Evil Ace.
I love it.
Okay. But so I have one critique on the presentation of Rachel Ellering, which is Rachel Ellering should be pushed as a powerhouse, closer to like a Jordan Grace, as opposed to, because she just wrestles like a wrestler. She's a very good wrestler, but it's just like she has like that size and strength advantage.
Well, she's the queen of strong smile.
Yes. God damn it.
It's a good gimmick.
But like, I feel like she could, like, you could incorporate more of like those power moves into Rachel Ellering's arsenal, and I think it would make her stand out a little bit more.
And maybe when she works some of the rust out, she'll incorporate more of that back into her offense. She is coming off of a pretty gnarly injury, is my understanding.
And a long layoff. I mean,
yeah,
she got injured and then she got fired.
So there you go.
And also said that she was excited that she was no longer being quote unquote hidden away in a warehouse.
That's like, a good dig.
Whew.
Yeah, buddy.
And hidden away in a warehouse she was. She was great. But yeah, again, neither of these matches were particularly like amazing, but there's a lot of personality and a lot of stuff that like stood out well.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, I'm excited moving forward. Like we now know where we're headed for our semifinals, but the question is, will any of these matches make it to television, or perhaps a pay-per-view?
I'm thinking the final will definitely be either on television or at All Out.
Yeah.
But I think this next round is definitely. I mean, we're still in YouTube world for sure. I mean, they even tell you. So for sure, the semifinals are still YouTube.
And here's the thing, the quarterfinals for sure should have been on YouTube.
Yep.
The semifinals, you can't find 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you can't find 5 minutes. And there's been like a lot of pretty ruthless critique of like how AEW runs its women's division. And there's one in particular I agree with, which is just like literally give them a little more time.
Right.
Like we'll talk about that when we get to like Dynamite, but like it's the semifinals being on YouTube is kind of disappointing to me. But hey, you know what? They're drawing YouTube numbers. People are watching.
They are.
Like that's valid, and people who want to see it are going to see it. I'd just like to see it given like even like more teases on TV, like advertise your show.
Right. Yeah, I think they pushed AEW heels more than they pushed the Deadly Draw tournament.
They pushed Being the Elite this week on Dynamite as much as they pushed the Deadly Draw tournament.
Right. Yeah, the numbers. See, I'm wondering if they're just worried about the numbers. So the debut episode of Deadly Draw had 580,000 views, but week two sub 300. Now, granted, it's only been 4 days, but
yeah, I mean it's not great, but also it's like if you watch that first round, like they didn't exactly put their best foot forward.
Right. If I was them, I would have flipped it, I think, and gone with this batch first myself.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
are you excited for these semifinal matchups?
I mean, I think they'll be better than the first ones. So
I mean, they have to be. Here's a real question: Do the Nightmare Sisters, are they a lock to go to the finals here?
I feel like it just because they're the ones with the most television exposure.
Right.
But an upset I would be cool with. But I mean, this, like, the end of the tournament. I mean, we're kind of following Dusty Classic rules, right?
Yep.
Where it's like the end of the tournament is going to be used as like a launching pad for a single star as opposed to a tag team.
Right. Totally.
And a launch for angles and storylines as opposed to, like, because the tag team thing is a dead end. They don't have women's tag belts, and they should not have women's tag belts.
Agreed.
They should not have any more belts. Every time I hear this rumor about a trios title, my skin starts to crawl.
Yeah,
like,
we just don't have time for it.
Yeah, like, literally, you could fill an entire 2-hour episode of Dynamite with just title matches at that point.
Right.
Like it's too much. But yeah, I'm optimistic moving forward. I hope that final is like a banger of a match, but if it's Allie and Brandy, I don't know if it can be.
It literally can't. Like, look, I enjoy, like, Allie's good. Brandy's getting better. Like, she's looking more confident in the ring. They're a fun team. They're good at storytelling, but just there's a ceiling there. There's a hard ceiling.
Yeah, have they announced what the actual semifinal matches are?
Well, yeah, it's Big Swole and the Nightmare Sisters on one side of the bracket, and then Eva Lise and Diamante against Ty Conti and Anna Jay on the other side.
Like, I mean, the best finals would be Eva Lise and Diamante against Big Swole and Lil Swole.
100%.
Like, but are we gonna get that? Also, I think Tay Conti's like, again, sign Tay Conti.
She's great. Man, how is AEW the only like national American promotion tapped into this Brazilian wrestling market? You know?
Also, it's like wrestling, like, okay, if you're being purely cynical, like, Brazil is, like, South America in general is such a huge market, like, this is why you have lucha wrestlers on your cards. This is why you're, like, yeah, I'm exasperated by, like, WWE's approach at times. Because it's just like, why not put the focus on these people? Oh, because they can't cut some fully scripted garbage promo, like, word for word with the inflection that you want? Like, let them just be people. Like, yeah. I don't know if they ever let Tay Conti ever speak on WWE programming.
I don't think they did. I don't recall.
Ridiculous! She's super charismatic. Like, but yeah, like, it's funny. I'm like, the best match you could probably get out of the Nightmare Sisters in the finals would have been against Big and Little Swole.
Right, yeah.
So, like, I don't know, maybe the upset does happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's funny. I think that Eva Lise and Diamante is a stronger team, but I wonder, especially with her association with the Dark Order, if Anna Jay and Ty Conti go over, just because Anna Jay, like, she's supposed to be a winner because of her association with the Dark Order, right? Like, that's the idea.
I mean, then why has John Silver never won anything ever?
Well, because he's the goof. He's the goof.
He's just a little kid.
Yeah, he's 29.
Yeah. But all right, let's head on over to BTE.
Ooh, we're almost to Dynamite. How exciting.
Almost to Dynamite. I'm going to breeze through some of this stuff.
Go nuts.
So, the Dark Order trying to take in Marco Stunt with a trail of candy.
Yeah.
And for some reason, John Silver's just doing a German accent the entire time.
Well, he didn't know. He didn't realize.
It's yes, John Silver wins BTE. Oh, and we forgot to do a segment, by the way, for Dark. Who was your enhancement talent of the week?
Ooh, good question, Frank.
And I think that also covers Deadly Draw, because that's basically Dark as well.
Yeah, let me go back to my notes. So from the men's side of things, I think my favorite was Michael Stevens, because I just think he has a lot of natural charisma, and again, that act would get over with the crowd for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from the women's side of things, I was very impressed with Eva Lise and Diamante as a pair.
Yeah. And I was personally impressed with, like, Rachel Ellering as a wrestler, but it's like,
sure,
I wouldn't even consider them like enhancement talents because they're not like extras.
That's that's not fair. You're absolutely right. Yeah, Rachel Ellering is a better choice.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like, Nicole Savoy, Tay Conti, Rachel Ellering. Sign all 3 of them right now. Let's just get that over with.
Yep, absolutely.
Build your damn women's division. All right, now on to BTE. So Marco Stunt, Dark Order bit. I thought that was great.
I like how Marco Stunt is simultaneously a confused child and a perv. Like, he's both, depending on what the scene needs. It cracks me up.
He's Dennis the Menace.
There, sure. Yeah.
Jack Evans Thesaurus promo. What were your opinions on this one while he eats empanadas?
It was probably the weakest of his down the lens promos. Yes. But it was fine. I think that Angelico shouldn't talk. He's a little cringe in my opinion right now. He's got to work on his promos a bit more, is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Sir Samuel's asking us, what do we think of the difference between Dark Order on Dynamite versus BTE? What do you think, Frank?
I love that we have both.
Right.
Because I feel like it's like we can understand that BTE exists in its own universe. And I think it invests me more in the Dark Order from when we get to Dynamite.
Sure. And however, it's like additional content, right? Like, it's there if you want it, but I don't necessarily think it takes away from their presentation on Dynamite because only the real hardcores are going to watch BTE anyway, and those people can divorce the sort of main TV context from the internet context, if that makes sense.
I think that the Dark Order on BTE are more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Because we just get to hear more from Uno and everybody. Uno, John Silver, Alex Reynolds. Alex Reynolds is really coming into his own, too. I think he's been doing great. One thing I really liked on Dynamite is when they did that little Dark Order promo. Like, him kind of, like, flinching.
Yep.
While Brody, like, spoke. It's like, very good stuff. But here in BTE world, what'd you think of this week's 50 over 50?
Was this the hanging segment? Hanging frames?
Yes, hanging frames with that big wine mom energy that Matt Jackson's house has.
I gotta tell you, I actually learned something. It would never have occurred to me to hang a picture like this, and I'll never do it. I'll never not use this method anytime I hang something from here on out.
Yeah, I need a level. I was actually thinking about hanging some stuff up after this. Maybe I'll buy one.
Dude, using tape like that, like, it's genius.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, what's a level?
Oh, you can get those for real cheap on Amazon.
Yeah. Oh man, that's like $6.
There you go.
Huh. I'm gonna hang some pictures. See, useful segment.
Yeah.
So the second Dark Order bit, with Uno finally getting to use the papers on John Silver.
Yes.
Uno's promo on them was amazing. He is so good. It's crazy it's taken us over a year from their debut to, like, get to this.
Sure.
Actually, yeah, it's over a year.
I do miss his ominous, like, arch villain style promos that he was cutting in the early days of AEW.
Before Mr. Brody kind of, like, took that spot.
Right. But I do think he has great comedic timing. He's a perfect Starscream.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Chris Daniels, Old Man Momo. Old Man Momo? I wrote Momo instead of promo in my notes.
Was he in a Mumu?
Yeah. The Old Man promo where he's trying to sell you pennies.
Very good. Yep.
Did you call the number?
I did not, but I went on the website and I believe it. Oh God, now I'm trying to remember where it redirected to. Crap. Darn. I did not call the number, but I went on the website and I think it just redirected to their. I want to say it redirected to their Pro Wrestling Tees page, but I'll double check that.
Yeah. Hey, Rare Monkey, thanks so much for 14-month resub. I appreciate it.
Nice.
Thank you for popping in. You a wrestling person? Are you about the wrestling? Or are you just tolerating it? If so, thank you. Other highlights, of course, was this. The Dark Order Chili's.
Oh, God. I was not expecting this to come back as a story beat.
I was dying. This whole segment was just amazing. Like,
the general premise of the bit that all of the guys in the Elite would end their wrestling careers to become Chili's spokesmen in a second, and that is an upgrade, is hilarious. It's genius.
Really, like, I also love that it's just like, we lost to the comedy guys, and they turned the TV on, and it's just the Dark Order singing the Baby Back Ribs jingle. Like,
it's great.
This is, like, one of the best written segments.
Yes.
Utterly brilliant. In general, pulling this up to one of my favorite BTEs of this year. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, I love this. Anytime we sort of get a throwback being the Elite segment where it is just like the core group of guys sitting in a circle and riffing and improving together and trying to make each other laugh, like, this is the goal. This is the real, like, this is the reason why we binged this show was a couple years ago originally. Just this great energy. Love these guys. Love to watch them have fun. Give each other shit.
They love to have fun, Chuck, and that's important when it comes to the sport of professional wrestling.
It's true.
Yeah. Any other parts of BTE that stick out to you? I think we're unanimous on that's the best segment.
I agree. I will say I popped hard when Nick said that he had to take their segment to his second property.
Yes.
It was just a nice little brag there. That made me laugh. Nick Jackson's secretly one of the funniest people on that entire roster.
Yes. He's very, very, very funny. There's also the Matt Hardy bit.
Well, this ties into a conversation we can have during Dynamite, but there definitely is a new direction for this Matt Hardy character.
He's Matt Hardy. The unkillable Matt Hardy. I'm just going to be Matt Hardy now. No, he's not.
No, he is not.
No, he's not. But yeah, great episode of BTE. Chili's is too sweet.
Love it.
Chuck, imagine if the only safe place in the world where you could go have a meal with your friends was Chili's right now. How fast would you run into a Chili's?
Oh, dude, I'm a mark for Chili's. I don't mind Chili's. Chicken crispers, corn on the cob, some French fries. Let's go.
I've never had a chicken crisper. Is that a nugget?
So yeah, it's kind of like it's a
tendy?
chicken breast or a chicken little nug, and then they put it in this like almost, it's deep fried battered, but it's like a lighter. It's not like your standard like chicken tender batter. It's more like a crackling batter.
Oh,
very yummy. Yeah, probably terrible for you. Absolutely terrible. But
yeah, I mean that's
delicious.
The only time I've ever eaten at Chili's was in like a Chicago airport, I think.
Yeah, there's one out in Encino. That's the closest one I think to us. And
I believe. Oh no, that's the Applebee's. That's in Alhambra.
Yeah, but no, I think about it all the time, Frank. Love me some Chili's.
Sir Sam, American food, like American quick service food, maybe not good. Maybe not good, but the cuisine of America, of the melting pot, we've got some great Mexican food here.
I really think that of all the sort of casual dining chains, I think Chili's is the best. It's better than an Applebee's. It's better than like a Bennigan's. It's better than
Outback doesn't even count because it's a little more expensive, right?
Yeah, I would think so. But if it's better than a Fridays, like, yeah, give me Chili's.
I'm just saying the bloomin' onion's delicious, and I had fried shrimp one time at Outback Steakhouse that was really good.
Look, I stand for a bloomin' onion. Just do not look at the calorie count. Don't do it.
No, I mean, if you're doing that, maybe I should learn how to make one.
Ooh.
Let me see if Serious Eats has a bloomin' onion thing. Wait a second, we're talking about AEW Dynamite.
Ah, shit, you're right. You're right.
Here we go. First up, we start the show with a bang. Young Bucks versus the Dark Order in Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. Great match. I think the best that Uno and Grayson have looked. More character in their in-ring work than ever.
Yep.
More, like, you get to showcase more of their offense. It's taken a very long time for them to show off what they can actually do in there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that they took the time to get the Dark Order right over a year. They didn't give up on it. And it worked. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great action here. Matt diving off the stage and doing that kind of senton and landing on his feet. One of the high spots of the entire show. Really cool stuff. Dark Order really working as a unit here. Like, this is their lane. Like, kind of a lot of fuckery on the outside. They're cheating, but they're still great wrestlers. Stu Grayson as impressive as ever. I love that even the Dark Order minions are starting to get better gear. Evil Uno's looking better and better. He's getting in great shape. Like, he'll eventually be able to lose that vest and go back to being topless.
I like the vest. I like the vest, like, just in general. I think it's just a cool look for him.
But he's getting cut. He's getting in shape, and I appreciate that he's trying to rebuild himself.
Yeah, it's like he's been wrestling a long time.
It's true.
And being in shape and being a little lighter, it's gonna be easier on your knees and easier on the rest of your body. So good for him. I love them trapping a buck in a tunnel.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like, again, like, it's a smart way to interfere without actually interfering.
Yeah. What do you think of the finish? Bucks go over.
I mean,
we're going back and forth right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the only way to do it. Like, I think, Bucks can't lose forever. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I actually saw somebody online mention something, and I think it's a really good point. For the last year, we've sort of criticized AEW. You've got this team, the Young Bucks, telling everybody that, oh, we're the best tag team in the world. And they keep talking about that. But they've lost a lot of high-profile matches. They haven't been able to capture the tag team titles. But now they've actually gotten to the point where they've undercut the Bucks' momentum on TV so many times that actually, like, I feel like I'm never quite sure who's going to win their matches, and it makes them more exciting.
Yeah?
So maybe it was kind of clever booking all along. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they wanted to build other people up, and I think that was important. I think sometimes it didn't work, like Private Party, sadly, have not been built up to a point where it's like, I feel like they're a genuine threat to anybody.
Correct.
But everyone else, they put them over.
Yeah.
Okay, so, rest of this match, yada yada. Oh no, this is the next segment. But yeah, I thought it was really good, and I'm ready to move on. MJF segment. I agree with you, Chuck. We talked about this last time on the show. The campaign shit sucks.
Yes.
American politics, yes, make fun of it, but it's not funny right now.
No, there's nothing funny about it. It every time, like, I see, like, an American flag in a podium, I have a panic attack.
Yeah,
I need a trigger warning on MJF promos.
Yeah. I need a fucking break, and I feel like this is probably the end of this MJF campaign, or at least I damn well hope so. I liked his promo more this week than the previous week. He kind of dialed some of the stuff back, but I hate the suggestion that John's a company guy or a dictator or choosing weak opponents. I get he's a heel and he's meant to say stuff that gets under our skin and under John's skin, and stuff that's blatant lies is fine, but I don't like that, like, this, like, the inside baseball shit, especially from, like, a smarmy heel like him.
Agreed. And, it's funny. I think that, like, he was trying to really do something special with, like, laying on the mat and trying to give us an interesting visual and sort of the implication that, like, oh, all of John's, this is the view from all of John's opponents, but, like, not the idea that, like, they can't win, but that they're all laying down for John. Again, like you're saying, like, that kind of walking that line between shoot and
I hate that work shoot bullshit.
It's just there's no place for it, especially in a company that prides itself on being, like, more serious than its competition. It's so 90s throwback nonsense. It's the worst part of the Attitude Era. Like, eject this shit into space. I don't want to see it.
Good, I agree. However, Sir Sam points out the look on his face when Mox's music hit, though. He just jumps up and, like, sends everybody out to try and stop him. He just walks up behind him, hits him, just drills him with a paradigm shift. Just wrecks him. And the way he sold afterwards, like just like a big baby who had his neck hurt. Great.
I wonder if he's going to try to campaign to get that move banned for their match.
Yeah.
That seems to kind of maybe be where we're heading. I want to point out one little nice detail that MJF does. So he's so good at making himself absolutely insufferable and hateable. When he tells his goons to, quote, head to the VOMs.
Yeah.
It's such a pretentious little shit thing to say. Like,
yeah. And then Taz had to explain it.
The vomitoriums thing. Just head to the VOMs, Frank.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. So, it's interesting that John got his hands. Oh, he's started a petition on change.org for it.
Oh, that makes sense. There you go. Yeah. Love it.
Makes sense.
Thanks for pointing that out, Sir Sam.
That's awesome. So we've had Jon Moxley beat up MJF a couple weeks before the pay-per-view.
Yep.
What wrinkles do they put in the story going forward? Since he already got beat down and apparently busted his neck.
Well, I mean, MJF's already... He took first blood when he hit Moxley with the title belt and almost cost him his match. So now Moxley's got his revenge. I would assume that... I mean, Mox is definitely going to have a Wardlow match heading into All Out.
Yeah.
Like, that seems to be the next... Or maybe a Lee Johnson match, possibly.
Oh, poor Lee.
Right. What do you make of that wrinkle? That they've involved Lee Johnson as, like, a campaign assistant?
That he's like an extra who's just been, like, enlisted there and doesn't want to do any of this.
Do you think this is just a bone they're throwing him to keep him paid?
So, did you see the online reference point for this role that Lee's playing?
I believe, I can't remember who it is, but was MJF not on like an episode of Raw where he got pushed to the back?
NXT.
Okay.
Where Samoa Joe was doing his like Goldberg entrance.
Yes.
And as they were walking out, Joe shoves him into a wall.
Right.
So that's what the Lee Johnson thing is directly referencing. So little things.
Yeah. It was just
like now MJF's on top, so he's going to treat everyone else like the shit. Like he was treated.
Sure,
like,
but
right?
I guess it means like the first time they showed Lee Johnson in the campaign headquarters, they never called him out by name. So it was kind of like at first I thought it was just like an Easter egg for people who watch Dark, but now they've actually like established that, oh, that's Lee Johnson. So I wonder where this is heading, or if this is even going to be a story at all.
Yeah, like Lee walking away, or MJF beating up Lee, or Mox beating up Lee. I think you need someone there, like another like proxy.
Yeah.
But would be great. I want to see Lee Johnson just like walk out and like slam the door on him, like, you know.
Be great.
MJF can take it. But moving on, Matt Hardy. It's just Matt Hardy. Except he beats up a referee who's dressed kind of like Sammy Guevara.
Yep. Michael Posey.
Mike Posey has some interesting fashion choices.
Yeah, I'd never seen him dressed like that before, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
he's like, wear this.
We're getting, it seems, and this is just me speculating, it seems like we're going to get crazy Matt Hardy, but like legitimately disturbed, deranged Matt Hardy. Not just like funny crazy. Actual
we're not gonna get the babyface version of that character. We're gonna get the one who tried to kill Jeff Hardy.
Correct. We're getting like psychotic break Matt Hardy here.
Yeah.
Good. And I think it's gonna be an interesting wrinkle for this character, and I think it's also gonna fit more into the ecosystem of AEW. Like there was always that little weird disconnect between Damascus and say a character like Moxley, right?
Yeah.
Now, Jericho could walk that line because he's Jericho and he can kind of do everything. But if you want to get Matt Hardy involved more into the real ecosystem of AEW, he needs to be this more grounded character.
Yes, like we're time traveling now to tell the story.
Right.
And I think we're doing a bit of that right now too, which is, we're telling the Young Bucks story, we're telling the Kenny Omega story, we're telling the Hangman Page story. We're kind of like flipping back a little bit.
Yep.
Like Hangman pushed to the moon. He's gonna win the title. He loses, and then it's just like, okay, let's put him in a tag team. He's doing anxious, so we're like, at the start of AEW, it felt like everyone was like came in, and then here are our main eventers, Young Bucks, and like these guys. Matt Hardy comes in, he's a big main eventer and stuff, and then it's just like, okay, they have their big match, and then we just like slide it back, and then just like tell the story. Like it's an interesting way. Also, hey, Mighty John.
What? Yeah, I mean, it sets up a chase for everybody, right? Like, it didn't just immediately, let's get the straps on the Young Bucks so that it establishes the title. It's like, no, we can actually establish the title in a different way. We'll use this tournament, we'll elevate a new team, put it on some veterans who need it to establish them, and the Young Bucks can chase that, and it can be like this long, drawn-out story. Again, it shows that AEW is patient. They're not in any hurry to do literally anything.
So, here's an interesting little something. Jason Barnett, in his review, was like, as he was like watching it live, he's like, why does it seem like Matt Hardy's pretending to be Matt Hardy, like in that first promo? And it's like, it's because he's trying to hold it together, right? It's actually like a very savvy acting performance where it's just like, okay, I'm trying to pretend to be me, pretend to be normal, pretend everything's fine.
Right.
When it's not. Like, I'm Matthew Hardy, and I'm, I could cheat death. And it's just like he's saying it to himself almost.
Absolutely.
Like,
he's pretending to be the person that he thinks he's supposed to be versus, like, himself.
Yeah. It's very interesting stuff. Well done, I think. All right. TNT title time. The belt's done.
Looks great.
Yeah, looks great. I would have appreciated like a little bit more detail with like behind the TNT, maybe a little bit more engraving. But I could not.
They were saying online over on the old Squared Circle that they were like, these were notes from the network that they wanted that TNT to be bold and solo and like clear. That. Yeah.
Yeah. And it works. Like
during this match, they have established. I mean, I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but like Tony Schiavone specifically said, this is a world title.
Interesting.
It's not just the TNT title; it's a world title as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So getting into the match, Scorpio Sky's entrance where he kicks down the door. What'd you think?
Fucking awesome! I loved it.
I honestly thought what was happening was that when Scorpio Sky was about to do the Goldberg entrance.
I think that was they got us. Yeah.
Yeah. I was very, very into it. So Scorp's entrance, super fun. Cody's entrance, ridiculous.
Has the whole entourage.
Whole entourage. It's a lot of people out there, they pointed out. And then Prince of Pro Wrestling.
So
how quickly are we going? How quickly are we descending into like cigar and coat, Cody?
Well, apparently not that quickly, because I thought for sure he was going to cheat out of his ass to win this match. And that was not the case. So it's going to take a little longer.
He seemed a little annoyed at the end of it, though.
He did. He was almost mad at Scorpio for going after his ribs, which has become the thread for this entire run.
Yeah. He's getting slowly broken down. He's wrestling too much.
Right. Well, and I want to point out, so I said this on Twitter. Cody's referring to himself now as the Prince of Wrestling, and I immediately thought of, excuse me, we did our original Watching the Elite run where we binge watched all of the BTE heading into All In. And do you remember what the title of BTE episode 60 was?
No, I don't.
So the episode was set when he won his first world championship, the Ring of Honor world title. And the episode is called From Prince to King.
Interesting.
So he's currently the Prince of Wrestling. One wonders if eventually, we're gonna see a King of Wrestling.
Are we gonna see him in that throne?
Could be. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, Sir Sam, I'm glad that Scorp wasn't acting all thankful just for getting a shot. He was determined, and they told the story on commentary as well, which is like Scorpio Sky's a really nice guy, and he has to get mean, and he tried.
Yep. He wrestled a great match, and this is just a case of like, and it's okay. So when I first watched it, I was angry. I was disappointed. I was like, I don't like this. I can't believe he lost. But then I realized, like, again, like we're talking, that AEW does this long-term booking, and look at the way that they've dealt with the Young Bucks. Look at the way they've set up Hangman. This idea that like just winning a championship is hard, and only a select few can do it. Just because you're a good guy and you tried doesn't mean you're going to win. And Scorpio Sky he's on a nice streak. He's been building himself up on Dark, but he's also just getting into the singles division. So he got his first big shot. Guess what? Didn't happen this time. Thanks for coming. Try a little harder next time. Like I think it's.
I thought he had a very good match, but also didn't have a ton of false finishes. A lot of people thought maybe should have gone a little longer. I think it was perfect. Crossroads. That's it. Like,
and he kicked out of the first one, so it's not like he didn't get a little bit of rub.
Yeah, but it wasn't like he had to get dropped on his head or super finished or like Cody fuckery or any of that stuff. Just wrestling match that he lost.
Well, and
also,
remember,
John, thank you so much for the follow. Thoroughly appreciate it. Glad to have you here with us today.
Yeah.
We also adore AEW, which is why we talk about it most weeks here on Watching the Elite Live.
So I just want to say, like, the other thing to keep in mind is that, like, me being mad that Scorpio didn't win, that means it's working. Like, Cody, you're supposed to get annoyed and tired of this run with Cody. And not, like, in the meta way of, like, oh, he's booking himself on top, blah, blah, blah. Because, by the way, like, spoiler alert, Tony Khan's actually making these decisions, not Cody Rhodes. But it's just this is the slow burn towards an epic heel turn, and it's happening right before our eyes. It's the worst kept secret in wrestling. The real twist is going to be, is it a heel turn with the Nightmare family, or is it a heel turn where he breaks off of his Nightmare family and forms something new?
Yeah. Are we going to end up running Cody Dustin 2 at some point? Because I feel like that's something you could go back to that. Well, man, that is a hell of a fucking match. A hell of a match. Like, that... Did you like that match? I mean, it is like those guys really pulled something out of themselves.
Oh, I mean, one of the best matches of the decade.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Didn't even need some of the Cody fuckery that they kind of put in there, like the Brandy spot. Like it didn't even need it.
Right.
But like, it seems like they were a little worried. Next time, I don't think they're going to be worried.
Absolutely. Here's a question. So we're going to be heading into All Out. He has to have a defense of some kind. Who's on the docket for Cody?
Out?
Is it going to be a Matt Cardona? Are they going to do that story? I don't think he loses it All Out. I'll say that much.
I agree. Also, it's like the fact that they're doing like Brody versus Cody before the pay-per-view, right? On the Saturday show. So next Saturday is when we're going to see AEW next because of NBA. I'm very curious. Because I'm like, how do you get out of that one, too? Because Brody shouldn't be taking that loss right now, either.
Agreed.
But, you know, I think they've pulled too many rabbits out of their hat lately. You know, how many more guys can we find on the indies? Like, war horses don't grow on trees.
Right.
I'm still saying Nick Gage. Like,
I mean, stranger things have happened. I wouldn't be surprised if the Brody match is where Cody does the full-on cheating to win.
Yeah. Also, it's like, when does Eddie Kingston come back? Because they had a hell of a match, too. Yeah.
It's true.
Sir Sam's, that's correct. When was the last time Cody was on BTE? He's just gone.
Yeah.
And he came back for like a minute. He came back for a minute, and then he was gone again.
He was at the funeral. I remember that. For Vanguard 1. But, yeah, I'm... I don't always... I like my clean finishes. I like that AEW gives us clean finishes. They've done it so sparingly, like we could have a DQ here, and it's not the end of the world, as long as again it's done selectively
and with purpose.
Exactly.
So,
like maybe this is a Dark Order gets involved and there's a DQ or there's interference and Brody loses. Maybe it sets up a Colt Cabana match against Cody.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who weren't on TV this week. Like, there was no Cardona, there was no Cabana.
Right.
But yeah. Also, is Dark Order just feuding with everyone?
As they should be.
Yeah, they are in like every feud right now. They're all over TV, and it seems to be working.
Yeah.
It's
a living, breathing world.
We didn't really talk about Mike Chioda.
Oh, sure. What a get.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, there's Mike Chioda. Just sweaty balls in the Florida sun. Poor guy.
Dude, I can't even imagine how hot it is.
Oh, just, I mean, we don't have to imagine. We can always just check the temperature.
Oh, that's true.
Oh my God. On their taping day, it was 90 degrees with humidity, like plus humidity.
Woof. That Florida heat. No wonder there was cockroaches on Dark.
But didn't talk a whole lot about like the match. So it was curious. Like Scorpio was definitely fighting from under the entire match. Babyface, Cody wearing him down, fighting off of his knees and stuff like that. Interesting stuff. Because Cody was essentially working as like the heel who was beating down Scorpio.
Right.
Without doing anything overtly heel-ish to him.
Yeah. Well, you know what else I liked about this match is it told a story that... So we were actually talking about this a couple weeks ago where we were just seeing the singles build or the singles store build for Scorpio and his... we were asking, like, what's his style going to develop into as he breaks out on his own as a singles wrestler? And we both had said, like, he kind of needs an edge or he needs to figure out some new stuff to really set himself apart and to go to that next level. Yeah. And I actually think that's part of his story because he wrestled the same match he has been on Dark here and it wasn't enough to get it done. He is missing something. But I think it's deliberate.
This makes me very curious, Chuck. I hope you're right. I just got a screenshot of that like awkward bit at the end. He's like, "Hey man, you going after my ribs?" Like,
yeah, it's interesting. Seems like the whole of the Nightmare family is kind of acting dickish, except for Dustin.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, so coming up, we got Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus. Frankie Kazarian's just out there.
Interesting. Chekhov's Kazarian.
Yeah. Still don't know what the deal with that is, but, we talked a little bit about it like earlier in the show about Dark. What's next for SCU? We don't know. But Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus. Kenny and Marco's feud continues.
Dude, this is great. I love that Kenny despises Marco Stunt.
Yes. And also, so here's the thing. Marco was justifiably angry at Kenny Omega because Kenny Omega just started beating him after the bell. Right. Kenny Omega lost his cool for a minute, and everyone seems to be okay with that. Marco isn't. So he shouldn't get involved in the match. So Kenny goes overboard in his offense on him. And then uses, and he's used as a projectile later in the match. So it's so interesting that the story of this match was mostly Marco Stunt, who wasn't even in it.
Right.
Yeah. Kenny's patience is wearing thin in general.
He's going to snap. I mean, they were setting that up, like you said on BTE, where he's sick of losing to the job guys or, being a comedy wrestler. People were saying
DDT Kenny.
Right. We thought you were going to be the cleaner. What's going on here? We're very close.
We said that
something.
on the show. We said that on our show where it's just we didn't get New Japan Kenny Omega. We got DDT Kenny Omega, and they just said it verbatim on BTE. Yep. So it's there's a story being told. I'm glad that we're not just reaching. That by reading into it, we're actually it's the text.
Yeah,
it's great. Weird.
That's like Joaquin always says, Frank. Tell him what you're going to tell him. Tell him what you told him.
Yeah. And wrestling can be that simple, and that can still be interesting.
Sometimes simpler is better in wrestling.
I agree. I completely agree. I have a question. Is Marco Stunt going to beat Kenny Omega?
Stop it. Here's what I could see. I could see there being a Kenny Marco match, and Kenny gets DQ'd for not breaking a 5 count or not, or you know what I mean? The match gets thrown out because Kenny is being too violent.
Yeah. I wonder if that's coming down the pipe. Will Marco Stunt be the thing that finally sends Kenny Omega crazy? I think it's going to be losing the tag titles and then the subsequent disagreement with Hangman Page.
Sure. It's interesting. So Sam's asking, do we think that Kenny and Hangman looked a little blown up by the end of the match? I actually would agree, and I wonder if some of that is just the heat.
Also, both guys were going really, really fast at the start of the match. Yeah. They were letting Jungle Boy set the pace, and they were trying to match it. And Jungle Boy is a quick dude.
Sure is. Quicker than a hiccup.
Yeah, oh my god, that clothesline that Hangman threw. Where you got the blind tag, and then he just comes in and just levels a seated Jungle Boy. So fast. Hangman Page was just running a mile a minute. So yeah, I think.
But let's also not forget that we're watching two of the great wrestlers on the planet, and specifically Kenny Omega, one of the great wrestlers of the decade, one of the best wrestlers in the world. Even little things like even in this match where it's just a random tag title defense on Dynamite, like a lot of their tags were blind tags. It just shows you they've cooked it into their psychology that this is not a tag team. Like they said on the tag team appreciation night vignettes, they're two singles guys who happen to be a team.
But Hangman said they were the best tag team.
Oh, it broke my heart, Frank. Broke my heart.
Me too. Hangman's just poor guy. But yep, good match. That Snapdragon on the floor was nasty. It was a nasty move.
He's really figured something out with those Snapdragons.
Yeah, getting Luchasaurus with 2. Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really good match. And we're just tapping away at the story. It's great.
Yep.
But big segment of the show coming up, Tag Team Appreciation Night. What did you think of this segment, Chuck?
I loved it, Frank. I fucking loved it.
The Revival. Okay, so here's some layers here.
Oh yeah, let's go.
The Revival, in their contract, mandated 2 things.
Yep.
Tag ropes for their matches and Tag Team Appreciation Night. The person who helped them with the deal for Tag Team Appreciation Night and getting that contract set was Arn Anderson.
Mm-hmm. And Tully Blanchard.
Yes. But Arn Anderson was in on this. He must
Correct.
have been in on this.
Yeah.
And that's very curious to me. What, like, because he gets out of there.
Yep.
Big question mark on what Arn's role is. But if introducing Arn as, like, Cody's manager, if all of this is actually, like, planned out as one giant story, they are brilliant.
Well, Frank, and don't forget the connection between, so Spears comes out, and that's when, Arn takes it as his cue to exit, because they're calling back to when, Arn gave Spears the Spinebuster.
Yep.
Was it a year ago?
Yep.
I really think this is all a big plan. This has all been in the works, and we're getting the Four Horsemen with Cody, FTR, and Spears. This promotion is not overly clever. They show their hand very often. They tell you what they're gonna do.
I'm still like, Spears murdered Cody with that chair.
Maybe it made him. Maybe he respected him because of it, Frank.
Yeah.
It finally showed that Spears had some motivation for the first time in his career. That he had that edge that Cody thought he was lacking in NXT.
Interesting. Yeah. So the segment was good. I love that the Rock and Roll Express were just like, "You guys are the best, woo!"
Yeah.
And then, and then Tully, yes, completely stole the segment, Sir Sam. Completely agree.
Oh, and Tully tells it like it is. Y'all ain't won shit.
Yeah. Some really interesting stuff there. I really liked it. FDR attacks the Rock and Roll Express because they're still wrestling.
It's almost like, but it's interesting. So we're presupposing here that FTR set all this up to invite the Rock and Roll Express to deliberately beat the shit out of them.
Yes.
To prove a point.
They are reprehensible human beings. So Hangman comes out. Another heartbreaking betrayal for Hangman, and not really how I thought that was going to play out. I thought they were going to do it in the way that we usually expect it, which was just like FTR would turn on him in the ring.
Right.
But not.
That's he's disappointed by the choices of his friends. Frank, Hangman is Sting.
He is Sting.
He is Sting.
He is Sting. Hangman is Sting. So...
Yes, Sir Sam, we are going to get a Rock and Roll versus FTR match. I absolutely think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we got one with Proud and Powerful.
Why not? Yep.
So, do you think... Will Hangman still hang out with FTR after this?
I think we're at least going to get a segment on BTE where he's questioning what they did, and we'll see how long they're going to drag this out if they can convince Hangman that they did it for the right reason.
Yeah, because I'm not sure Hangman would go with it. I think that might be like a step too far in the realism department for me. If Hangman's just like, hey, they just had a weird time, like they felt offended or whatever, and tries to excuse it. I don't think that flies. I don't think you can backtrack that.
Right.
So Hangman can no longer be surprised when they turn on him.
But isn't it interesting? So FTR are clearly heels now. He's lost his friends, FTR, his drinking buddies. Now you've got him with Kenny. Eventually, they're going to blow up. There's no way that Hangman's going to be the bad guy here, so we're going to have Kenny becoming a bad guy. Cody's teasing a heel turn. Hangman is, he's just going to be a man at an island.
Yeah. Scorpio Sky, man.
Yeah.
him and Scorp.
Him and Scorp.
And Mox.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait for the first time Hangman and Mox, interact and team up. There's a reason why we have never seen those two characters interact.
Yeah, because they're saving it. Yeah, they know it's money.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, poor lonesome cowboy. Yeah, we need to get an Orville Peck theme for Hangman now.
Oh man, that'd be great.
But yeah, man, they really messed up the Rock and Roll Express,
dude.
Hit him with a knee brace. So the knee thing has always been a gimmick.
Yep. Which also means that FTR deliberately faked a knee injury, and it cost the Elite that 6-man match just to set this up.
Yep. Awful.
Despicable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, this is the part where, you know what? I'm gonna pull back the curtain on how we run things here.
All right.
Watching the Elite Live.
Uh-oh.
This is a part of the show where I have to switch my screenshot folders because OBS, the program that I use to do all the screenshots in the show, can only take so many screenshots. And I took a lot of damn screenshots this week, boys.
Oh no, the sausage. It's getting made.
Yeah. Here we go.
We're seeing it.
So yeah. But I fix it. So it's fine.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah. This is great. All right. So Hikaru Shida versus Enhancement Talent of the Week from the Killer Bays, Heather Monroe. Seeing Heather wrestle a ton on indies in Los Angeles. I'm so happy to see her get a chance.
All
here.
over bar wrestling, right, Frank?
Yep. But man, blink and you'll miss it. But what she did a great job with the literal 2 minutes again.
So not to be like, I know we keep saying this, and like, oh, they can't sign everybody, but sign Heather Monroe. She's
great.
She has no
ready
fear.
to go.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Fully baked.
Yep. So, 2 minutes. Hey Becky, how's it going? Hey Becky, could you help me out? Do I have a Croy?
Oh yeah, gotta re-up them Croys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we also have a cat in here now too. Prosciutto, the office cat.
Love it. Prosciutto. Salty cat.
Oh, up to the cam? Yeah, everyone can see Prosciutto. Come here, sweetheart.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, this match, again, short. Shida looked really good. This is, again, they're another story they're telling in the ring.
Aww.
You know, Shida's at her best when she's provoked. Right?
Sleepy little angel right here.
Very nice. Super cute.
Yeah. Now I got cat right by the mic. But Sir Sam asks, what's a LaCroix? It's a sparkling water with a little bit of fruit flavor.
Yeah, but also it's our euphemism for any drink. But
yeah, we
in this case, it's an actual LaCroix.
Yeah. I actually have some Broken Skull IPAs in the fridge, but I was just like, I have shit to do after this.
Yeah.
So, it's not something.
Yeah, basically, Sam, it's a healthier alternative to like a soda pop. It's a carbonated, sparkling, delightful drink. Yeah. It actually 9 times out of 10, it is a beer, Sir Sam. It's also actually a thing.
Aw, hey Prosciutto. Oh, you're trying to press keys? I can't let you do that, sweetheart. Let me just pop you on my lap. For the rest of the show.
Man, you're stealing Tyson's
Teddy Hart. Tyson Kidd and Teddy Hart's
Tyson Kidd and Teddy Hart. Yeah.
All right. Croy number 3. This time we're going limoncello. Delicious.
Love it. Telling you, drink of the summer.
You can order it from Walmart.com now. So you know. 24-pack.
Nice.
God. But yeah. So the entire women's roster was given under 3 minutes on this week's Dynamite.
Yeah, it's
under 3 minutes.
No, because in their defense, part of that is they're trying to figure out who are the best like TV ready talents they have access to, because Japan is closed to them, because England is closed to them. You know, like there is definitely a lack of like sort of like ready-made talent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they just got to pull the trigger on some people and take some chances, and give these women some more time.
Yeah, like they have to. I don't know what I would pull from this show. Probably half of MJF segment. That's the rest of your women's segment.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's where you could trim.
Yeah, where was our Britt Baker bit this week?
No Baker bit this week.
Bummer. No Baker bit? Bummer.
Yeah. So I think maybe Los was talking about this in the chat. But man, what if Baker costs Big Swole and Little Swole their match?
Interesting. Well, as long as it's not the like play their music and get distracted roll up, then I'm fine with it.
What if it's just Britt in a wheelchair gets up for the first time and shoves one of them off the top rope?
Oh, I'm here for that. That's great.
If she's good to go. I don't know if she's good to go.
Right. But yeah, the timeline's a bit murky.
Injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hikaru Shida, a lot of fire this week. I like the additional aggressiveness.
Yep.
And it kind of seems like she issued an open challenge, but who do you go to for the pay-per-view? Are we actually gonna get Britt and Swole? Is Britt good to go? Or
I mean, that's the match. That's the match as far as like non-title for sure.
Yeah. Who's out there?
Oh, well, okay, so I know on Twitter, Thunder Rosa has challenged Hikaru Shida online, and I think Cody did the old put the, hand to the ear gif.
Oh, yeah. So maybe that would just be like on Dynamite.
Yeah, maybe we see some Thunder Rosa.
Yeah. I wonder if there's some people in Impact who are on like open contract, so we can kind of, or people in Women of Honor division is like, I mean, if you want to find a weaker division.
Well, they're running shows now,
AEW
Frank.
Yeah, they're running shows. Okay, so that's, I don't know. Chat, what do you think? Who's gonna fight Shida at the pay-per-view? Because can I give you again?
Can I give you a theory?
Yeah.
So I think it's because it times out just about right. If the finals are on Dynamite a week or two before All Out, the duo that wins the Women's Cup gets a triple threat match against Hikaru Shida.
Interesting. If they do that.
Yeah, that would be one way to do it, where like you have established challengers.
Yeah, and she's been saying I'll take on all comers, and they're throwing together tag teams, and if you do Brandy and Allie, then Allie can betray Brandy or vice versa.
Right. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Nyla Rose again. Villain Mac says. I'll say, hey, Villain Mac, how's it going?
Yeah, I mean, look. I'm never mad at Hikaru Shida and Nyla Rose. I think they have great chemistry. So,
yeah. I mean,
sure.
Yeah,
I don't
watch
think
that match forever, but it's
here. Actually, that brings up an interesting point. If they do go with that match again, the question becomes: you don't necessarily want to beat Nyla again. It's a little soon for that. However, I think the idea was originally for Nyla's run was that she was going to hold that belt and have a stranglehold in that division for a significant period of time. Was Hikaru Shida just a stopgap? And now that Nyla's back in the mix again full time, do you go back to plan A?
Makes sense.
We'll see.
I'm intrigued. All right. Yeah, Shida wins. So we've talked about this before on the show, Chuck. Was it Jake Roberts has led Lance Archer astray? Or is Jake Roberts losing his hold on Lance Archer, and it's clearly the latter?
Yeah, Frank, the only person protecting us from Lance Archer is Jake the Snake. And he's losing his hold on his client.
That's scary. If we have to rely on Jake for that. What'd you think of this bit?
I mean, it's very silly, but I mean, to sort of get over what they're trying to do, I think it's very effective. Lance Archer has become way scarier and hasn't wrestled.
Lance Archer's just like, hey, Jake, I need you to do something for me. Take off your shirt so I can write everybody dies on your back.
And then put your shirt back on.
Come on. And then at the right time, you're going to pull it off. It's going to be like a thing we do. Jake's like, oh, man.
Yeah, I guess Jake's not writing that. So, yeah. It's pretty good.
I mean, if he could write it behind him with like assisted mirrors and stuff like that, I'd be really impressed. The penmanship's pretty good.
I do like how the classic sort of like rookie sign mistake, because I did the same thing when I was writing my old Attitude Era signs, where you start very confident with the beginning of the word everybody, and by the end you got to cram body in.
I mean, I still write like that.
Start running out of real estate.
Yeah. That's like the third act of anything I've ever written.
God damn it.
So, it's main event time. This show did breeze by.
Sure did.
I skipped the Kyoto angle promo. I didn't take a screenshot for that, but yeah, this is Kyoto angle.
I mean, it definitely it led to a moment, but
I don't know. All right. So, let's talk about how Sturgis, over 20 years later, can still fuck up wrestling on TNT.
Sturgis went over tonight, brother. Jericho had one too many Woe Boys.
I love Chris Jericho.
Yeah. I
think he has been irresponsible a few times, but has learned from those experiences.
Yep.
Like his All Lives Matter thing.
Yep.
He very quickly was like, wait a second, I'm being a dick.
Yeah. I just thought that was... I got boomer ignorance whiff off of that. Yeah.
Yeah. However, having a COVID conspiracy theorist on your radio show,
not great.
Irresponsible.
Not ideal.
Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah.
Whereas he's like Chris Jericho's is like fucking carny man who's just like, oh man, I have the president's son on my show. This is gonna be a big deal for my show. It's just like, it sucks. Don't do it. Don't ruffle the hair of fascism. But like, so now we've got Chris Jericho performing at a motorcycle rally in a place that admittedly had low COVID numbers, which is why you don't let 250,000 bikers or however many fucking idiots were there.
Right.
Like 20,000 or something. And then throw a shitty rock concert. Also, like, fuck Smash Mouth as well. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
COVID.
Look.
It's just like, yeah, fuck the virus. But guess what? We have to deal with this shit for a while. And it, like, bums me out because every time I see one of these other ding-dongs fucking up, it's another month I have to hide in my goddamn house. So
yeah, I mean,
you.
look, I'll say that at least they were outside, question mark. I mean, that, like...
Yeah.
At least they're outside.
Crowds packed in, like sardines.
Yeah,
Chris
that's
Jericho's
not
thing.
ideal.
And it was meant to be like, oh, the venue's at 30% capacity. Bullshit. They're meant to be wearing masks.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. Yeah.
Temperature checks. Yeah, I'm sure they did that for every single person coming in. Like, oh, he's in a production bubble, said Cody before he deleted the tweet. There's hoping this one goes away. Fuck you guys. Stop it.
Temperature check was just their euphemism for their like shitty wet t-shirt contest they had. Like, you're hot. Temperature check.
Yeah, and it offends me that AEW was doing everything really well. Like, as well as you can, bringing people in and out of the airport in fucking Florida to run your wrestling shows.
Right.
Like, they didn't bubble like the NBA. Like, but they were doing a pretty good job and just like fucking blew it on this show. And I understand why they wanted Chris Jericho to wrestle, because it was a big moment for Orange Cassidy, and he shouldn't be punished for the fact that Chris Jericho is a ding-dong. But Chris Jericho looked like shit coming off of like what I assume was a bender at a fucking biker rally.
So I will say most of the match I thought he held himself together.
Yes, I agree.
It fell apart at the end.
He had a couple, every dragon screw, man. The guy
so
wrestled.
That's interesting. So
fucking,
there is actually video
he wrestled
footage.
Fucking Tanahashi.
There's video footage of him, like, it was a couple years ago. He's taken dragon screws like that before.
Yeah.
So I wonder how much of that is, like, just, like, bad form in general or him being blown up. But like, he ruined the finish.
Yeah, he
absolutely ruined it.
And it feels like they called it audible and the match went a little longer the first time around.
Yeah.
And then they fucked up Orange Cassidy's cool, like, mousetrap kind of pin.
Well, they could have, I mean, that should have, and it's just such a bummer. That could have set up the mousetrap as the ultimate small package, like, unbreakable finisher.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy is a weirdo who has a super finish.
Yep. And that would have been an amazing story to tell. You could have done an entire, like,
I mean, I think they're just gonna keep on trying to tell that story, even though Jericho blew it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Jericho laid down for that. Like,
well, they also had like 1 minute left of TV time.
Yeah, I know.
We didn't even get to see the celebration with the best friends. We didn't get to see Jericho throw a complete fit. Hey, Prosciutto, you up on the mic? You want to visit everybody again? Hey, everybody.
Now I need to get an equally cute cat and name him Capicola to compete, Frank. Yeah.
Prosciutto is very photogenic too. It's a real sweet.
Super cute.
Yeah.
Good rescue kitty.
Yeah. She's been hanging out. But she really wants to rub on the microphone. But man, like, I'm mad. I'm mad Tony Khan hasn't said fucking anything about Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Like, you have a guy like Jon Moxley who was incredibly responsible taking time off, and Khan, like, applauded it. And then this thing, like...
What do you say to Chris Jericho, though? On real talk, you're Tony Khan. You've got the biggest star on your roster, probably the highest paid guy in your roster, the most veteran guy in your roster, the most mainstream star on your roster. What do you do?
You say, hey man, you fucked up. Yeah. What are we gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Like, we're getting a lot of hate for this one, buddy.
Listen, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think it could have been a simple conversation.
Yeah, you just gotta carny it up.
Yeah. But man, Chris Jericho putting over Orange Cassidy should have been awesome. But instead, like, he just wasn't good to go.
Yeah, it definitely undercut the moment, but that doesn't change the fact that there are now 3 people who have pins on Jericho, and only 2 of them in singles competition. The only 2 people in singles competition that have pinned Chris Jericho are world champion Jon Moxley and Orange fucking Cassidy.
And imagine if this was in front of a crowd. Just imagine for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam, you're right. The more this happens, the longer it is till we can pull a full gate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. This is Carney language.
Yeah.
The more you do this, the longer till we get a full gate, and the longer it is to get your full bonus. Now you got to talk dollars and cents to these people. That's great.
Yeah.
Somebody get me Tony Khan on the horn.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. She's back again. Boop, boop. But yeah, I just don't know. Like,
yeah.
This should have been a huge moment, and instead this was just a good episode of Dynamite, and that makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
Could we have waited for the pay-per-view? What even is the plan for the pay-per-view? Are they just gonna have another fucking match?
I don't know. It's so hard. I mean, maybe they have the rubber match, but then I think probably Jericho probably wins that one, which is kind of a bummer. But I do think that you need to put this on TV to get the maximum amount of eyes to really put over Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, they didn't want to do it next week because it's going to be on the Saturday show where it's going to be like the least amount of people who have ever watched Dynamite, probably.
Probably. Yep.
Yeah. So
could be like sub 500,000 next week.
Yeah. Yeah, we had the Kyoto bit. That was something.
So
and
is the idea that
here's the infamous bad pin.
In kayfabe, is Kyoto not full-time with AEW yet? Because Jericho basically insinuated you don't have, like, he's like, I'll get you a job.
No, I think he's there. I don't know what the logic around that was. I think it was Jericho wanted to do something stupid and he did it.
Right. Okay.
Like,
yeah, it's fair.
It's just a bad Jericho idea. Aw, hey Prosciutto.
Man, so many run-ins by Prosciutto. It's like a WCW match.
Exactly. There's like a Scott Steiner match where you leave the tiger to the ring.
Love it.
But yeah, this was a good show. A little messy.
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Express. The tag match with Hangman and Kenny was really good, but a bit messy. MJF segment was a little off. Bucks and Dark Order was fantastic. Tag Team Appreciation Night segment was really fucking good.
Yep.
Little stuff for the women on the show. Brian Cage is a ghost. Like, but I get it. Not everyone's on the show every week. That's what makes AEW like good. They just cram everyone in. But yeah, just a good episode. And I feel like we're gonna get another in-between episode since Saturday next week. They've got some big matches announced for it though.
Absolutely.
Like some big stuff. Like you got the Brody match with Cody. We got like a lot of stuff for that show. But man, what was your highlight of the show for you, Chuck?
Probably Tag Team Appreciation Night, just because the implications story-wise. And, you know, I just like seeing Hangman, I like seeing FTR, you know, heal it up. Broke Hangman's little heart. So, going forward, I think this is going to be like one of those things we look back on. You know, it's going to be it's definitely going to be part of the video package telling the story of FTR and Hangman versus Kenny Omega when it happens.
Yeah. Interesting. Man, I'm looking forward
How about
to the future. Man, I really like that Dark Order Young Bucks match.
Yeah, great way to start the show.
Yeah, I also thought the Moxley attack on MJF was really good. Scorpio and Cody was really good too. There's a lot of good stuff on it, really.
Absolutely.
But man, it was like a half step away from being like one of those classic episodes.
Yep.
But man, that's more than you can say for most. I mean,
it's true.
I think they're an impressive job. Fuck Chris Jericho. But that's about it for me.
Sure. You know, I gotta say, Frank, I really liked this like kind of like mid-afternoon recording.
It's pretty chill. It's a 3 LaCroix kind of day, Chuck.
Dude, I'm kind of into this. So next week, AEW Dynamite is on Saturday.
It's on Saturday. Maybe
I don't want to commit us to anything, but maybe we could try to do like a Sunday gimmick.
Easy. Let's do the Sunday gimmick. Yeah. So everybody, thank you so much for watching.
Oh, the best. As you guys are the best.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for like hanging out in chat. It's awesome to see everybody. Thank you everybody for like chatting with us. My John, thanks for the follow. Everybody, thank you for resubs. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I think we're going to call this one. Emperor, hello. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rare Monkey. God, everyone's so sweet to us.
Yeah, and remember, if you missed any of the convo, we're going to upload these to our YouTube channel. So just go to thisisawesomepod.com, and you'll see the links. Or you can go to watchingtheelite.com, and we have links to our YouTube channel where these are all archived.
Yeah, also, new episode of our podcast. This is awesome if you haven't listened to it before. We got New Day versus the Usos with Spencer Tucker up right now. It's a great match.
Super fun episode.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's a Hell in a Cell. It's like a second Hell in a Cell match. You should definitely check it out. That's at thisisawesomepod.com. If you give us 5 stars on iTunes, I really appreciate it. Leave a match for us to watch in the comments. We'll watch the match. We'll talk about it on This Is Awesome. But yeah, until next time, y'all should watch Elite.
Watch Elite.
All right, see y'all soon. I'm going to turn the thing off. Play the outro.
Adios.